Just in time. Greetings, everyone. I'm Luke Bryan Smith, and welcome to Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved, where we educate, motivate, and liberate you through enlightening dialogues, empowering music, and evolving content. I almost forgot what I was going to say, but I got it. I've said it enough times, but I am excited yet again because my next extraordinary guest is the CEO of Monsoon Beverages, behind the brand Kalm with Kava. He spent over a decade immersed in the science, cultural traditions, and real world impact of this remarkable plant. Kava has long played a role in the fostering in fostering social bonds and well-being in the South Pacific. And he's had the privilege of learning directly from growers and communities throughout the region. And there's a bit more. But without further ado, allow me to introduce to you Morgan Smith. How are you doing today, Morgan?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I think, it would be cool if you would just follow me around maybe and just be my hype man. You do a great job of that. You're going to make my head huge. You're going to, annoy my kids and my wife as I walk out of this room here. I'm going to say all sorts of cool things. They're going to be like, you need to chill out, bro. So thank you for the intro. Really
No,
appreciate it.
absolutely, absolutely. And apologize for me in advance, if that happens. But I just want to say that I am a firm believer in that time is one of our most precious assets. And for you to choose to spend even a moment of your time sharing with me here on Enlightened, Empowered, Evolve, I just want to extend my sincerest gratitude to you. Thank you for being here at this present moment.
Back at you, man. I really appreciate you having me
Yes.
on. I'm excited to
So
talk about this crazy thing we call kava.
yes. Yeah. Let's start with you being the CEO of what is it, Monsoon?
Yeah, Monsoon Beverages. So it's actually
Monsoon Beverages. Give us a little insight, a little clarity as how that began, how that journey began, and what it entails now. And yeah, just give us a little backdrop on what's going on here.
Yeah, so Kalm with Kava was a brand that was underneath the Monsoon Beverages umbrella that was started by my good friend Mike Munsell. He and his wife Tiffany went to Fiji on their honeymoon in 2009, and they tried kava for the first time, which is a South Pacific plant that's been growing there for 3,000 years.
Wow.
And they kind of use it as like a bit of a almost like a Polynesian peace pipe. It helps to relax. It helps build connection with one another. Really helps with relationships. And Mike fell in love with it. He loved it, and so he came back to America. He couldn't find good quality kava, and so he started his own company where he would import kava from throughout the South Pacific, from islands like Fiji and Vanuatu and Tonga, Samoa, and the
Wow.
Hawaiian Islands. And then he and I worked very well together, very closely for many years. I had my own kava brand at a point, and I ended up selling it because it was too much for me. Um, but we remained very close, and he passed away in 2020. And he was my great buddy, and his wife Tiffany asked me to help run the company, and so I did, and I eventually bought it from her. So
Wow.
that's kind of where it started. And now currently we are still running his company. I have a picture of him here on my desk. I have pictures of him at my office behind me. And I also own a farm in Hawaii
Wow.
using plants that he planted. So I'm kind of carrying on Mike's legacy here at Kalm.
Wow. That's amazing. Thank you for giving us an introduction as to how this kind of shaped itself. And you know, I really want to know more about this kava now. Is this kava, I don't want to even throw anything out there. I was going to say, I don't want to say what it might be like or whatever. I want you to say it because I don't want to put any ideas in people's heads as to what it is and what it's similar to. So tell us about this kava because I've never heard of it.
Yeah, kava is a drink. and it's also a plant, right? Kind of like how you would say coffee is a drink and it is also a plant.
Right.
Kava, the plant, like I said, has been consumed or it has been grown for 3,000 years. It was a canoe plant. So it started off as an invention of the South Pacific peoples. So it really was a cutting of a wild plant, and they would take that wild plant and they thought, they consumed part of it and they probably felt decent effects and they planted it again and again and again in their gardens, and eventually it became sterile, meaning that kava cannot be um, farmed or propagated without human intervention. It does not,
Mm.
it has flowers, but it doesn't have seeds, meaning that someone actually has to take a cutting of an existing plant and plant another plant in the ground. And that's the only way that it's existed. And as a canoe crop, they would, I imagine at some point, either they got really fed up with their neighbors and they wanted to go find a new island, or maybe they're just explorers and they wanted to see what else was out there in the world. And they put all of their belongings into canoes, all their food, all of their medicine, all the things that were special to them. And kava was one of those things that was very special to people throughout Melanesia and Polynesia and Micronesia. And so as it went to different islands, it started to morph and change. And so currently we have about 100 different varieties of kava that are consumed daily throughout the South Pacific,
Right.
as a way to, they take the roots, they grind them up, and then they add some water to it, and they strain out those roots, and then you're left with a kava beverage that people can, consume together, and it helps you to relax. It's a sedative, but it's also euphoric, and so it will give you, very calming feelings. Personally, I like to drink it in the evening, about maybe 10 o'clock at night. If you're, different cultures consume it differently. So those in Vanuatu, where it started, which is an archipelago a couple hundred miles west of Fiji, they drink it about 4 or 5 o'clock at night. They have a couple of coconut shells worth of it, and then they have dinner and they go to sleep. In
Wow.
Fiji or Tonga, they'll drink it all night long and all day long. And whenever they want to drink it, they'll drink it. But it's more diluted. So it's not going to be as intense or as strong as what they have in Vanuatu. And in certain areas, it's consumed dried. And in certain areas, it's consumed fresh, straight out of the ground. So that's kind of a little bit of a primer about exactly what kava is.
Wow. Never heard of it. And thank you for giving us some clarity in regards to that, because now I think I can throw this name out there, and I think you already know what I'm thinking. But I was like, is this similar to cannabis?
Good question. Great question. So
Yes.
it has similar sort of qualities to it. I
Right.
will say that kava will never get you to that level that cannabis could.
Right.
Kava, I always tell people it's like a fifth of cannabis. It's
Right.
nothing that you're not going to go to space, but you will always make good decisions. It doesn't
Right.
clear your mind or it doesn't cloud your mind. It doesn't, it puts you into a funky state. It's not like alcohol where you'll forget where you are, right? It's like
Right.
I always like to tell people it's like an intense chamomile, or like, do you remember
Mm.
15 years ago when people were first talking about CBD
Right.
and they had all
Right.
sorts of ideas about what CBD was and how it would
Right.
feel, and a lot of people took it and then they didn't feel anything and they thought, well, that's lame. I feel like kava is what people used to think CBD was going to feel like.
Was going to
It
feel like.
gives you a psychoactive effects and it helps you and you can actually feel it working.
Yes. Yes. That's amazing. You I'm gonna go outside the box a bit. Prior to coming on the podcast, you said that you were when you came across this podcast, you thought it would be a great fit. It is a great fit because I'm the host, and I'll tell you, I haven't tried it yet, but I've even wanted to try the ayahuasca. I've looked into that. So yeah, so I mean, things that are just natural. They're not chemically processed, and they come from the earth, and something that can, yeah, that'll have those calming effects. Like I love drinking tea and coffee and mushroom tea, and I've even tried different types of mushrooms, and had positive effects. Very calming, very relaxed, effects. So yeah, that's amazing. That
Yeah.
now today, and see, I pride myself on being open to learning new things, and I love learning new things. And this is something new you've exposed me to. I've never heard of it until today. Now I can't ever say that again because I have heard of it now. So that's amazing. So how do
Glad to hear.
you brought the company? So how do you, and without, if I'm if I'm imposing, some on some secrets or anything, let me know. But
I'm an
how,
open book, man.
yeah, how do you guys, or your company, I want to be make sure that I'm articulating this correctly, but how do you process it? You just pick it out of the ground, and you have a factory that you do. I mean, how does it work?
Great question. So Kava, the industry itself is in its infancy, right? And I think that the very first thing that we really should talk about is the sourcing of it, right? So
Right,
anytime you buy a product, right? Let you talk about mushrooms or coffee earlier. Well,
right.
my right hand man of the company, he came from the coffee world. So he went
Oh,
on
okay.
these trips to, Central and South America where they would go and talk to the farmers and they would,
Mm,
see how the coffee beans were grown and how they were washed and how they were processed. And that step is incredibly important for any botanical product, because obviously, like from the get-go, if you have a product coming out of the ground that is good soil, good irrigation, good fertilization, good all that stuff, you're going to have a better product, right? And so, the very first thing that we do is we go to the South Pacific all the time. So,
right.
actually, right now, he's out there in Fiji right now for me. I'll be in Tonga next month.
Oh, wow.
And we also own a farm on the Big Island of Hawaii where we
Wow.
farm it as well. So we're very close with the relationships, or very close with the farmers on those islands because those relationships are super, super important.
Right.
These are people that have been farming this for 3,000 years, right? And so they know what they're doing. They know, because it's in their blood, man. It's like, you can't separate Kava from the people. And so, first off, if we go there, we make sure that we have a really good, solid relationship, good, solid foundation with those folks. And then, we've had lasting business relationships with these guys for 10, 12 years, buying products from folks that, in fact, most of them were not kava farmers before, but they kind of grew up with the farm, with the company. Mike actually helped them get started in making their own kava farms. And now, here we are many years later, and we're all very successful together because those relationships are really solid. And so we import all of their kava roots. So we import whole kava roots, which are these big, long. Oh, you know what? I don't have them here with me right now. Unfortunately, I used to have them, but they grow out about 6 feet out from the plant. These big lateral roots. And they also have like the basal stump of the plant. You take
Mm,
all of that and you dry it out, and then we take that dried root that they send us, we sterilize it so that way it doesn't have any pathogens like E. coli or Salmonella or these areas of the world. They don't have clean water or infrastructure
right.
that really handle
Right.
that stuff. So you want to make sure that it's really clean, and then we grind it ourselves in a facility here in Phoenix, and we also bag it up, right? So we do A to Z, right? We're growing it in Hawaii. We source it from islands like Fiji and Vanuatu, and then we import it here and grind it and bag it up.
Well, I'm going to say a lot of things here, and hopefully this computer up here recalls everything right. Number one, Vanuatu. Uh,
Mhm.
my wife and
Pretty
I,
good.
my wife and I looked up that place and want to go there. We saw a special on it on, I think, the Food Network or something. They were there. I don't know. I don't know how we, or the Travel Channel, something like that. But we looked it up and, oh, we need to go there. But that
You
place,
should.
yes, yes, it
It's
looks,
I'm not even kidding here, dude. It is like my number one place on the planet. If I
yes,
had to like move somewhere right
yes,
now, I would pack up everything and I would move to Vanuatu. It's like the people are the
right,
nicest in the
right,
world.
right,
And it's the most beautiful place in the world. It's like some of the outer islands, it's like National Geographic kind of
right,
stuff. You know what I
right.
mean?
No, we
It's
looked up that.
unbelievable.
Not to cut you off, but we looked up
No,
how
no, go
a
for it.
lot of the people still, they live in their traditional tribal ways and everything. And I'm like, that's amazing. And
Yeah.
just the water and just the scenery and just everything was so beautiful. And so, yeah. So now you just, not by accident, came into my experience and affirmed that that's where I need to go. Because we discovered that place probably about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and we've been contemplating it. And every now and then it pops up. And so, yeah, now we know we got to make that a destination. So, yeah, and I love tropical places, anyways. So I just love it. I go to
Who
a lot.
doesn't?
Yes, yes. So I take it that uh that what is it called again? The product. What is it called?
Kava?
The it has to grow in a tropical environment.
Yeah. Yeah. You cannot grow it anywhere outside of Polynesia I mean, you could, right? You could. I imagine like Costa Rica might be okay or somewhere kind of around that area,
What
but the
about like?
hard,
Oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, the hard part about that is that you'd have to get the cuttings. Because
Mm,
there's no seeds, and you're just not going to be able to get the cuttings there. And also, I think like in some ways it's could be disrespectful to the folks that have been farming it for a really long time, right? Because
yeah.
it's like it's a South Pacific thing, right? And so,
Yes.
you worry about taking, I mean, if you look at Vanuatu specifically,
Right.
um, over 50% of their GDP comes from kava. So
Mm,
if you take that away from them, all of a sudden their economy just collapses, right? So it
wow.
is their income.
That's amazing that you are collaborating, with the people in the ecosystem, and if I'm even saying it right, just not disturbing the process and the flow, and engaging with the actual people that grow it, and without trying to you know, extort and take that away from them. And that understanding, and I can tell by the way that you just um, enlightened us about that, articulated that, added clarity that you're aware of that, and that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, they're kind of like family. We
Yes.
get we do video calls all the time. A couple months back, I was having dinner with my family, and I had a Fijian supplier, ring me up on WhatsApp, and I said, "Hey, here's my kids," right? And she was there with their kids, and I've gone to go visit and I had dinner with their families, right? So
Wow.
it's kind of like, why would you, hurt
Yeah.
the people that you just want to
Yes.
hang out with, you know?
Absolutely. And see,
Yeah.
and we need more of that mindset. I agree with you. I align with you in that aspect, that energy. That's how I live my life as well. So that's amazing. And I was going to ask you this. So if this is an appropriate question, okay, number one, who can drink this drink? Everyone? Children, elderly? I mean, or
It's a great question.
is it confined to a certain that recommended age group? And two, if there are any known side effects?
Okay, great question. So,
Okay.
throughout Polynesia, people have kind of different perspectives on it. In
Okay.
Vanuatu, I asked some guys that were like 25. I said, "Oh, do you drink kava?" They said, "No, no, no, we don't drink kava."
Oh
But
wow.
I asked the guys that were like 35. They go, "Oh yeah, we drink kava." Right. So it's almost like there's like a coming of age kind of thing over there.
Okay.
But then you go to places like Tonga, or Fiji, and you've got kids that drink it, right? I've got some Tongan American friends who I'll go over to their house and we'll drink kava together, and his 14-year-old son will walk in the room and I'll say, "Hey, come have some kava," and the kid will go, "I'm good," So it's kind of like a thing where, I don't know if I certainly don't think that I should be the guy out there saying like, "Yeah, have your kids drink kava," but I can tell you that many people throughout Polynesia and indeed in America also drink it from a young age. But not I this I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to
Yes,
give you
absolutely.
parenting advice, right? So that's pretty important. The other thing is that, in terms of side effects, so there's a couple of things to be concerned about, right? Obviously, drugs in general or
Right.
foods in general can be problematic when you combine them with anything else. Think about like
Right.
grapefruit, right? Grapefruit is it's constantly being this thing that's like, oh, you can't take this and this and this thing if you're eating grapefruit. And
Right.
so the thing that we don't really understand yet is all of the interactions that kava could have with other things. We
Right.
do know that caffeine, when combined with kava, the kava will last longer. It takes a while for it to be
Mm,
metabolized, and so
wow.
it sort of increases the effects because it just takes longer. Outside of that, I'm not really too familiar with other interactions. So, if you're taking a whole host of medications or something, I would just be very careful. I'd talk to a doctor. So that's point one. Point two is it can be dehydrating, and so you just want to make sure you drink a lot of water. And then point three, one of the, if you look at old stories of like Hawaiian kings or the ali'i, like the chiefs, right? They would talk about how they would show their power by being able to sit around and drink kava all day. And they call it ava, but they'd be sitting around drinking ava all day to show that when they called it kind of like a scaly kind of skin, right? Where it dries your skin out and it
Mm,
turns you kind of like ashy, right? And so it was kind of like a sign of power, like, hey, I can sit around, I can drink ava all day, and it makes my skin dry out. So it can dry your skin out as well. Those are the primary kind of things.
mm. Wow.
But you
Amazing.
can use some lotion. Lotion
Yes.
is
Eat
great.
some aloe vera, some lotion, some cocoa butter, you
Yeah.
know, any of that. Yeah. Interesting. Um, what was I going to ask you? Oh, yes. So, number one, how can people buy this from you, of course, and how much? I don't know the measurements or
Hmm.
of what is what, but what is it? One bag that's 5 ounces. I mean, yeah, give us a little insight on how where we can get it, right? And what does it come in a bag? Yeah, and how
Yeah.
much?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm here to promote Kava in general, right? And so, if people want to buy from me, fantastic. My company's name is Kalm with Kava, Kalm with a K. But you don't have to buy from me, right? I'm just one of the regular guys out there selling it. But you can generally look at Kavas in a couple different classes or formats of Kava, right? So traditionally, you'd have like a medium grind or a traditional ground Kava that you'd have to put into a strainer bag, add water and massage it in a bowl, and then you'd have kind of like almost like a tea, right?
Okay,
And that it would run about $60 a pound, and that would be about 45, 50 servings or something of
okay.
decently strong kava. And then if you go on the micronized side, which is kind of like an instant version of kava, where you can just kind of
Tea
throw it
bag?
in some water.
Oh,
Not even that. It's
oh,
just
okay.
kind of like instant coffee
Oh, you
almost, right?
put
You
it
just
in there,
Yeah, you
no
just mix
bag.
it in some water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so you get a similar kind of amount of servings, but it's about $60 for a half pound, right? But you don't have to
Mm,
do all the straining and you get a lot of kava for that value. And then there's also extract products. So kava extract is kind of a weird thing because it doesn't actually have a lot of the benefits that traditional kava has. So which normally, earlier we were talking about cannabis, or if you think about like coffee extracts being, full of caffeine and makes things very strong, right? You
right,
need a small amount of extract to have the same effects as a large amount of whatever herb you're putting inside of this extraction facility. With kava, it's not exactly the same. For some reason, and we don't understand the science yet, but when you extract kava lactones, it either it kills some of the volatile compounds within the plant and you don't get the effects as strongly, or maybe maybe there's something that is not being pulled out that should be being pulled out that's synergistic with kava lactones, which are those main active ingredients within kava that produces psychoactive effects like sedation or euphoria. And so kava extract products are going to give you a part of the experience of kava, but not the full effects. I always tell people it's like 60-70% of the kava experience can be experienced with kava extract products, but not the full kind of whammy. But we sell kava gummies and we sell kava tinctures. Like drinks are out there that can help you. There's a brand called Dahonu that we've partnered up with that, it's owned by this great guy. He was raised in Hawaii. He's half Fijian. So there's kava extract products out there as well that'll kind of help you dip your toes into kava. Kava doesn't taste great, and so it tastes like a medicinal mud water. If I'm trying to
mm, wow.
it's, yeah, I'm not trying to sell people on the taste. I'm trying to sell people on kind of that lifestyle of like, kind of enjoying the island sort of relaxation
Right.
experience, but the extract product kind of help, bring you into that world without having to go
No,
headfirst.
I'm definitely interested in trying it at least. I am. So I'm saying it right
Great.
here on the podcast that yes, I'm gonna look
Well,
into it.
I'll send some your way. You send me your address. I'd love to
Absolutely.
have you
Oh,
try it.
okay. Yeah, you all heard it here, so hold them
I
to it.
got to do it now. Yeah.
Yeah, what's your address in case I need to send everybody over there to you?
Yeah.
No, that's amazing. That's
Sure, buddy.
amazing. So if w- everyone wants to buy it from you, where do they go? Do you have a website we can click on or
Yeah, so calmwithkava.com, calm with a K. We also have, we're on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. So we do a lot of educational things. We'll show the plant itself and kind of how it's grown, how it's processed, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to learn more about Kava, that's a great resource. But then we're also on Amazon and
Calm of
TikTok
Kava?
Shop as well. Hmm.
Calm of Kava. So that's KALMOFKAVA.
Calm with Kava.
Oh, with.
K. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, with.
There you go.
Oh, not of, with. Kava,
Yep.
KAVA.
Perfect.
And calm is spelled with a K, KALM. Okay, we got it. And I'll be sure to incorporate those links in the description of this segment as well. Yes,
Great.
yes. And amazing. So, is there anything else you would like to share or, tell people, in regards to Kava before we conclude?
I would just say that, look, Kava is not a solution to your problems,
Right,
right?
right,
Nothing is a solution to our problems.
right,
I get stressed all the time. I get anxiety all the time. Kava is not going to fix that. And so I always look at Kava as a tool in my toolkit. That's all that it is. When I get anxious, I go for a walk. I go hang out with my kids. I go talk to my wife. I go, do these things to kind of decompress. And at
right,
the end of the day, Kava might be, that thing for you that can help you go, okay, now that I've dealt with all that stuff, let me relax a little bit, right? But
right.
it's not going to be the end all be all. And it should
Okay.
be a part of your wellness, plan, right?
Mm,
It's something that I look forward to at the end of the day, but I don't need it. It's not addictive. It's not going to hurt me long term. I can have it for 2 years straight, not have it the next day, and I won't need it. And
no
I think that that's
relapse. Yeah,
no, not
yeah.
at all. And so I just think that if people are looking for an option out there, something that's going to be a little bit different than what their parents have probably been reaching for years and years and years, that Kava might be something that you could reach for to maybe change old habits that you might want to get rid of.
Amazing. Thank you, Morgan, again for being here and telling us about this amazing product, amazing plant. Wow, and how it came about. I can just picture it, growing in Polynesian, and especially you mentioned that name, Vanuatu. Oh, man, gotta go.
You
And I
gotta
when
go.
I do go, I want to talk to you and share some experiences that I had over there as well. Because I know I can already see it. I'm going.
Oh, I got a
I'm
lot
there
of
already.
friends over there.
Yeah,
So
I'm
if you
there
need
already.
some help, I got it. I got you hooked up.
Okay, so then when I do decide to go or when, then I'll definitely look you up so you can give me some direction and connect me with some people. Connect me with your
Absolutely.
peeps, man.
I
You know.
will. I will.
All right. All right. Thank you everyone for
All right.
watching and or listening. Be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, share this. Not only help the platform grow, but get this information out there. Yes. Thank you. And if you think you would be a good fit for this podcast, simply email me 333empower@gmail.com. Easy as that. Love and appreciation to everyone. See you soon. Enlightened, empowered, evolved.